Hey friends, the world is definitely not what it was a few months ago. Well, even a few weeks ago. No matter where you are, who you are, what nationality, color, creed, religion, or denomination you all are dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with. We all are battling in a COVID-19 world where everything is at a standstill. My question to you is, what are you doing right now that's changing your future? Are you just flooded with the overwhelming challenge of COVID-19, or are you planning your tomorrow? Well, let me share some thoughts with you that might help you think differently, and they might help you do something different tomorrow, day after tomorrow, this week, and until we come out of COVID-19. As part of this entire shutdown that we've been encountering, I embarked on something totally different, and that is to get people together, get people to talk to each other, get leaders together, and help understand what the challenges of different industries are. What should we do? What should companies in the manufacturing sector do? What should accounting firms do? What should supply chain professionals do? And as part of those conversations, hundreds and hundreds of people have been part of my live streams. The leadership live streams that are running on Wednesdays have been incredible, and we've had excess of 500 people every single time logged in live watching those conversations. One of the reasons being everybody wants to know what is going to happen, how tomorrow is going to evolve. Now, we're living in an era with an overwhelming amount of information that's coming out of news channels, different types of media. There's updates about the local regions and countries and cities where COVID-19 is. And predominantly, a large part of the knowledge that's coming out is about how many infections are there, how many people are dying. And that's, I think, 90% of the news that's coming out. A lot more is about how many layoffs have happened, how the economic situation of the country has changed, what is the economic turndown that has happened. And so there's a lot of negative news around us that's challenging us. It's putting us down, it's depressing us. And in such times, there's one thing we need to do is fight negative news, fight this current of negativity that's challenging us all. We're already stuck in our homes. People's cities are closed. There's shutdowns everywhere. There's curfews in many cities. And the one thing that we need to do is become stronger. Many countries and cities advocated the use of social distancing, which was not the right thing to do, because socially, if we distance ourselves, we're going to turn into lonely people. We need to unite right now as people and not socially distance ourselves. We need to communicate with each other more than we used to do before in order to stay in touch, in order to stay human, in order to be and feel part of society and be part of society. If we isolate ourselves, we're going to do no good to anybody. And for that reason, my friends, I really suggest that you make a list of people that you want to stay in touch with and touch base with them maybe every other day, once a week, but stay in touch with your friends and family, check in with them, make sure people are okay, and make a habit of stepping up and doing something different. You know, in times of crisis, we all are looking for leaders, people who are going to tell us what to do and people who are going to show us the path. But right now is the time for all of you, for all of us, to become leaders. Because leaders are not necessarily people who are given the crown or given the title and the designation. Leaders are people who step up to the challenge. Leaders are people who step up and get other people together and change their perception of tomorrow and help them go forward one step at a time, one day at a time. Of course, if you want to climb a mountain and you look at the peak, it might put you down because it's such a difficult task to do. But when you climb one step at a time, one day at a time, things definitely look different. Now, we all are encountering a very different situation right now. We've never seen this before. COVID-19 hasn't, or a disease of this parameter has not been out there in the world ever. We've never seen it before. So undoubtedly, we're facing something we have never seen before. And we can be afraid. There's nothing wrong with that. We can be confused. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this era of confusion, we have to make sure that we do our best. We stay ahead. We stay sharp. I really recommend you to read a book. To read a book, find your old books, find a book from a neighbor, a friend, find a book from your library if it's open, or order a book online and start reading. Start reading things that can help you impact your career, your job, your business, the way you think, because that's what the game is all about. It's all about how do you think that determines where you go. What life gives you, you cannot change sometimes, but how you react to it is everything. So start reading books on leadership. Read Stephen Covey, The 7 Principles of Successful People. Read Spencer Johnson, Who Moved My Cheese. It's a very small book, but it's a profound message in there. The 1 Minute Manager. There's hundreds and thousands and millions of books you can read right away, but you've got to start with one. My recommendation to you is read at least one book per week. One book per week, and you will see how your life will start changing and transforming as time goes on. If you're financially in a crisis, reach out to people who can help you. Reach out to your government, reach out to the authorities that fund you, but keep things going. Do not give up. Don't give up hope. Don't give up the idea that things will not get well. They will, because it looks like the pandemic is going away, but it's going to be a little bit longer until we know how to come back and what to do. So hang in there, support your family, spend time with your family, which I think we're doing, we all are potentially doing. But we need to do something different. Planning tomorrow is a tricky thing. As a futurist, I work with people helping them understand the future and then plan it. But when it comes to planning, it's real execution that is needed. It's not just planning. In order to create a better future, you've got to start changing your habits. In order to create a better future, you need to know the vision of tomorrow. You need to know where you want to go. In order to get there, you take the right steps. Now, the future is not here yet. We don't know how things will ultimately turn out 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. But what we can do is create a balance and create a success strategy and create a pathway that we can follow every single day and assume and hope that we are going to reach that destination. If you were to go from one point to the other, one city to the other, you would naturally use all the tools that you have. A right car, a right vehicle with gas in it, a car that works, and you would drive in the direction of that destination, right? You wouldn't drive away from it. And that's what we need to do. We need to equip ourselves with the right tools, the right mindset, right gear, a right concept that how many days is it going to take us to go from one point to the other. And then we start our journey into that direction. And that's how the future is created. Today we're battling attention. We're flooded with social media messages, with news, with TikTok videos, with YouTube videos, and we need to learn how to control ourselves. We need to learn how to pace ourselves with all of this information that's overwhelming us. Remember that you only have 24 hours, and in these 24 hours, you've got to give the right attention to the right things. So if you're spending too much time doing an activity that's not helping you progress, then please think again. Start changing your habits, right? Many of us will develop many bad habits during this time when we are stuck at home doing nothing, because many of you are not even able to work from home, right? Many of us are working from home, but many are not. And so for those who are not even working from home, it's a much more challenging time. I really suggest that you take up a hobby. You take up reading a book. You take up doing something that adds value to your life. You start connecting with people, strategizing about tomorrow. Spend a couple of hours every day at least planning your future, planning the time when things get well, and a bounce back strategy of what you're going to do. Now, we've had conversations with hundreds and thousands of people over the last few weeks on our leadership live streams, and they've all been about bouncing back. Now, a few people asked, why are we talking about a bounce back? We're still in COVID-19. We're still in it. How can you talk about bouncing back? Well, if you don't, then we're never going to be able to do it when things are better. And that's how we need to think. Proactively create tomorrow. Put your actions into execution. And do the things that will actually change your future. My friends, we all are in this together. And I'm hoping that we all come out of this stronger, better, faster, and ready to take on whatever challenge the world gives us. One thing is for sure, that COVID-19 is going to change the way we think. It's going to make us more resilient. It's going to make us more ready for change and more battle ready. So we are definitely learning a new skill. Start reading a book. Start connecting with your friends. Join us on one of our live streams. Be part of a conversation. Connect with people that you haven't spoken to in many, many days. And don't overdo yourself on information and news that's not useful. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.